Hello everyone. Apologies if the mic sounds kind of terrible. I'm using the one from my gaming headset, so I don't know how this sounds. I guess I'll find out when I edit this video. But I just wanted to show you guys something because I was in my discrete maths class a couple hours ago, and we were doing classwork. It was open notebook, so this isn't really as embarrassing as it would have sounded if we was taking a quiz, but so it was, it was silent, a couple kids talking to each other, discussing answers to the problems, stuff like that. And in a moment of like pin drop silence, you could hear someone's chat GPT going off, like he had the bot read the answer to him. I'm not sure if he's using chat GPT or some kind of other AI, but yeah, that happened, and they like fiddled around with their phone to turn it off before it gets spat out the answers. But you could tell it was copy pasted from the worksheet. And I got to thinking, while I was doing these questions, I was like, can chat even answer these questions? Like, I mean, they're not the most complex, but for an AI, it may not be enough for it to handle. And in a sense, I was correct because literally the first question that I had, I'll type it up here, tripped it up, and I just want to show you guys here. So before I hit enter here, I just want to explain the prompt. So it's a simple question, honestly. Does 6x plus 5 equal, that's a typo, does 6x plus 5 equal an odd integer, another typo, I'm sorry, for x equals the set of all integers? So it's basically asking, will this equation 6x plus 5 always give us an odd integer so long as x is the set of all integers? Now, for those of you who don't know, so I put up a couple examples here just in case anyone's still not convinced. No matter what integer, remember the set of all integers you substitute for x, you will always get an odd number. And if you want to pause the video and find me an integer that you can substitute for x that will give you a even number, I would love to see it in the comments. Remember, the set of all integers. So let's stop beating around the bush. Let's ask ChatGPT what does it think about this prompt here. I try to word it as correctly as possible, as clearly as possible. I think I did a pretty good job. Does 6x plus 5 equal an odd integer for x equals the set of all integers? Let's see what it thinks. Okay, so we don't even have to read everything here because it pretty much just argues a blatantly false argument on line 3. But let's read along here up until the point where we can pretty much stop because it's false. It says no, 6x plus 5 does not always equal an odd integer for x equals the set of all integers. Well, that's just false. But let's keep going. Consider x equals 0. Okay. Then 6x, or 6 times 0, which is 0, plus 5 is equal to 5, which it says here. And it says 5 is an odd integer. Okay, so that's one example that supports the statement. However, if x equal 1, then 6x plus 5 will equal to 6 times 1 plus 5, which we can all agree 6 plus 5 is 11, which is also an odd integer. But if x equals negative 1, then 6x plus 5 equals 6 times negative 1 plus 5, which equals negative 1. Okay, true. But then they go on to say that negative 1 is not an odd integer. Well, we can pretty much stop there. There's no point in reading this. It's false. So I'm going to go ahead and type in, and here's the one of the things that, I like about AI. As much as I want to disprove it sometimes, it's fun to point and laugh at a robot. It can always learn from us. So I'm going to type, you are wrong in your example. Negative 1 is an odd integer. And it actually admits that it made a mistake. So we will ask it again. Does 6x plus 5 equal yada yada yada? And here we go. It says yes, 6 plus 5 does equal an odd integer for x equals the set of all integers. For any integer value of x, 6x is an even integer. And adding an odd integer 5 to an even integer always results in an odd integer. Therefore, 6x plus 5 is always an odd integer when x is an integer. That's true. Okay, so you can teach it in one session and you can use that information to get the answer to, maybe a follow up, or maybe you just want to teach it, hey, this is not true or this is true. And then you can go along with your little, like, your cheating session, if you will. But it seems like you can't start a new chat or start a new session until they update it. So if you do want to use ChatGPT to do your homework, or maybe if chat isn't very good with something, I would suggest teaching it first, and then in that same session, make sure it's in the same chat. You continue your conversation with it with those, parameters set in place. But I just want to show you guys this. I'm not trying to, crap on AI or say, hey, ChatGPT is bad. And, 9 times out of 10, if you're doing math, well, maybe not discrete math, but, 9 times out of 10, if you're doing math, you're probably using Wolfram or something a little bit more accurate anyway. But in the event that you do want to use ChatGPT, I just want to show you guys this because sometimes it may spit out something that is questionable or just straight up false. So in the event that that happens, just teach it the right way with proofs and then move along with the rest of your stuff with that knowledge. Anyways, that's about it. See y'all.